right, friends, it is time for another full-length, step-by-step Cricut tutorial, and this one is 100% beginner friendly. I know I say that all the time, but lately I've been getting some comments where people are like, that's not really beginner friendly. I want step one. So this video is for you, step one people. This is ultra beginner friendly, and even better, you can do this project in 30 minutes or less. This is actually gonna be a whole series of projects that you can do all in 30 minutes or less, and it's based on a conversation I had with my friend Michelle. She is a new Cricut user, she has kids, she's busy, she has a job. She wants a project she can do in her very limited free time from start to finish and feel like she learned something new. So that's what this new series is all about. It's all about beginner-friendly Cricut projects you can do at home in 30 minutes or less that don't require expensive materials or new tools or equipment. All of them can be done with what you have that comes with your Cricut machine and just some materials. So let's get into it. Our very first 30-minute or less Cricut project is going to be a simple heat transfer vinyl pocket t-shirt. So let me tell you what you're gonna need for this project. You're gonna need a pocket t-shirt. I'm using this Fruit of the Loom one. It's literally from Walmart and comes in a 3-pack. You can barely see the pocket, but it's right there. And then you're gonna need 3 colors of heat transfer vinyl. I'm using Caesar Easy Weed, and I'm using this silver glitter color. It is Caesar Glitter. I'm using this neon pink color, and then I'm using this pale pink color as my third. And that's literally all you need. Other than that, just a weeding hook, some scissors, and a heat press or an iron. So let's get into it. Okay, so let's talk through the Cricut Design Space portion of this project. So I've just opened up a new canvas here in Cricut Design Space, and then I'm just gonna go to Images. If you have Cricut Access, the SVG for this project is free. Otherwise, it's just 99 cents. And I'm gonna search Cowgirl Boot under the images here and click search. And you can see a lot of really cute things come up. This honestly gave me so many ideas for future projects. Like, I think one of these as a Tumblr wrap would be so adorable. But just scroll on down a little bit until you see these pink ones. And we want this one right here that does not have the backing on it. So you can click on it and select Add to Canvas. And then once you add it to your canvas, we're gonna do one step to make this a 3-layer design. And that's just so it shows up a little bit better on your pocket tee, depending on what color your pocket tee is. So this is not a required step. It's just a step I like to do to add a little bit more dimension to my projects because it doesn't make it any more challenging. So what you're gonna do is with your image already clicked right here, you're gonna select offset at the top, and you're gonna set that offset to 0.25 inches, and you're gonna make sure your corner is rounded and not squared off. And then you do want this checkbox to weld offsets to be checked. That just means that it's all gonna come as one layer of an offset. So once you have that set, you can select apply. And it's gonna give you basically a backing layer for your design here that we're gonna do in that lighter pink color that we selected. So I'm gonna go ahead and change the colors here just so I can visualize what this is gonna look like. But just know you don't have to change any colors. Like, the Cricut doesn't know what color you're gonna put down on your mat. So as long as you have 3 separate colors represented here, this next step is totally optional as long as you can keep in mind in your head which color vinyl goes with which layer. But I'm gonna go ahead and make it perfect just so I can really visualize it. This backing layer here is gonna be that pale peachy pink. So I'm gonna select my color up here, and I'm gonna select this pale peachy pink. And then I'm gonna actually use my layers panel over here to select that bottom layer. And I want that to be my hot pink. And then my overlay, like my star layer, is going to be that silver glitter. So I'm just gonna go ahead and select the silver here, and I'm gonna make it even a little bit lighter so I can really visualize what I'm working with. And there you go. This is what our design is going to look like. I'm gonna make the boot just a smidgy bigger. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna redo my offset. I'm not loving how big it is. I want it to be a little bit smaller. So I'm gonna delete that offset and I'm gonna redo it. And I'm gonna set my offset just to 0.2, making it a little tighter around my design. And I think that's gonna give me more the look I want. Yes, perfect. Now I'm gonna go back and change that color again. We're officially ready to go and make this design, but what I am gonna do is resize it for the size of my pocket. So I'm gonna click and drag over the whole thing. And I'm gonna set my width to 4 inches, and that makes my height 4 inches just about, because this is kind of square-ish. And that's gonna be the right size for my pocket. You could double check that if you want with a measuring tape, but that should be just about right for most adult-sized pockets. And once you've done that, you're ready to make this. So we're already ready to cut with our Cricut. So I'm gonna click Make It up here in the top right. Okay, so now that we're on this screen, we're gonna say that we are gonna cut this on a mat, and we're gonna use a 12 by 12 mat. So hit Confirm. It's gonna go ahead and sort your projects by color, which is exactly what we want. And since we're using heat transfer vinyl, we do need to mirror every layer. So we're gonna select the toggle to mirror it. And you do have to do that on each individual color. So make sure you scroll down and select each different color here, so you can tell your Cricut to mirror every layer that you have. Once you've done that, you are ready to cut, so you can click Continue. And I've got my Cricut Maker connected via USB, but yours might be connected via Wi-Fi. Your next step here is to set your base material, which for us is Everyday Iron-On, and we're gonna use that setting for every layer we're gonna cut today, so you can go ahead and click to Remember Material Settings. And now your Cricut should be flashing with that Unload Load button, so that means we are ready to load in our first mat and make this design. So I'm gonna hop off here, and I will see you back in person where we can cut our layers. Our first layer is the glitter layer, and we're actually gonna flip it over and cut it shiny side down, just like with most HTV. I'm just using this scrap, and this is ready to load into the Cricut. Now to get this off of our mat, we're gonna flip it over and peel the mat away from the vinyl, not the other way around, and that's ready to weed. Second mat, peach color. Now we're gonna cut our second color just the same way we cut the first, and then we're gonna repeat it with our third layer. Now we're on to our third layer, which is this hot pink color. Lay it down upside down on your mat, AKA shiny side down, and we are ready to cut our final layer. Last layer cutting, and then we get to weed. The first thing we're gonna do is cut everything down to size, so we can save the extra. Sometimes it's hard to see on the glitter, so I recommend bending it a little bit until you can see where that cut mark is, and using that as your guide. And the weeding for this should be really beginner friendly because we have a very simple design. So we're gonna start with our peach. We just take it from the back, just how we cut it. We let our hook find that corner seam and we take it all the way to the edge. And then we just lift the vinyl away from the backing. And once you've done that initial lift, you actually don't need your weeding hook anymore. Then you can just pull with your hands. You can pull all that excess away. And that is one layer weeded. Then you can just throw away your trash. Then you're just gonna use your hook to get those internal pieces. They're usually pretty easy to see. Onto the last piece. This is gonna be the hardest one to weed because it is that glitter. But again, just bend until you see the seam there. And then you can find it with your hook really easily to get a good start. This time we're weeding out the exact opposite part from what we weeded out last time, because this is the part that's going to be visible behind our pink. It's kind of proving to be a little challenging to weed, so I'm just taking my time. I'm actually using this pink one as my reference point, so I know exactly where I'm supposed to be cutting. making sure I don't miss any spots here. And as I get close to these stars, I'm using my weeding hook to poke them out. They are not wanting to go without a fight. There we go. I feel like there's a small bottom part here. There it is. Okay, so first we're going to preheat our shirt. And that's where you just run your shirt through your heat press for the normal amount of time, but just the shirt with nothing on it. Now we lay down our first layer here. Then we can go ahead and peel that off. Next we're gonna do our pink layer. So go ahead and just line up that boot. Press it. Peel that layer off. And then now you're gonna line up your glitter layer. And then once you've got it on there, you can go ahead and throw that last layer in. Mine is wanting to stick up, so we're gonna get it in there fast. And then peel that last layer off. And that's it, a super beginner-friendly, multi-layered Cowgirl pocket tee.